Hey everybody, it's me, Angel Benton, and today I'm doing a Sudsy recap about Bold and the Beautiful. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you so much for having patience with me while I dealt with that phone drama. I have a brand new phone. It is glorious. It is marvelous. It is lovely. It's an iPhone 7 Plus, 256 gigabytes, so I can have plenty of room for my shows. But I'm gonna not go so crazy on the apps because I did get like a lot. I had so many different game apps on my last phone, so I just would just go crazy and just get all these crazy game apps, and I'm gonna limit that. And I'm also going to use the iCloud a lot more than I have been using it in the past. So I'm excited about that. All right. So, Bold and the Beautiful. So, I really need to talk about Bold and the Beautiful last Friday. Okay, because that was the big Forrester fashion show. That was one of the best days. I'm telling you, soaps, the best days to watch soaps are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because that's when all the shit happens. Tuesdays and Thursdays are really just throwaway days. Oh, and FYI, I'm in my bedroom in Glendale. That's why I have a change of scenery. I'm not in my kitchen in Vegas. I'll be here for the next week while I go to this project management course. And I'm here for Thanksgiving too. But anyways, so okay, they had the Forrester fashion show, right? Which Quinn was running because she's running Forrester in the stead of her husband Eric, right? Because he left her power of attorney, which Ridge, was always underhandedly trying to take away from her and all that bullshit. That's some bullshit. But whatever. She didn't. She knows that the family hates her, but she doesn't care. She wants to put on a good show for Eric, right? So she came up with this idea to do this jewelry pass because she's a jeweler. That's what she does, and she wants her jewelry to be showcased. So she had the models in little tiny black dresses that were just all the same, but the jewelry was different on each model. So they had the models go, and I thought they all looked great. I'm going to come back to this in a second, though, because I want to talk about Sasha and Maya. That's another reason why this episode was so great. But after the jury passed, they were supposed to have the big showstopper. And Ridge brings his dress, and it was fitted for Steffi, who is much shorter than all the other girls there. And she refused to wear it, and he refused. Like, I don't want my dress associated with your tacky jewelry pass. And she was like, oh no, bitch, no, you don't. So she got in the dress herself. And she was the model at the very end. And the crowd went nuts. Everyone was buying and just placing orders. It was the best because the look of just the look of defeat on Steffi's face when she saw that Quinn was wearing the dress, that just made my life. I loved that. I could dine on her tears. It would be awesome. It was so good. And Ridge totally was one up by Quinn. It was awesome. I loved everything about that. I loved it. It was great. It was really, really good. Very well done. And let's see. Okay, so Sasha and Maya. So one of the things that I also liked about that episode, and this was kind of a throwaway scene, but it needed to be said. Maya was getting on to Sasha about sleeping with Zende, right? But her thing was, okay, A, they were broken up, and B, she was going through with this second surrogacy for you. It and I did not know that that she decided not to go through with it because you had posted that she was. So maybe somebody shouldn't have asked her to have a second baby so soon. I was like, well, it's about time somebody fucking said it. I mean, seriously. I love me some Maya, but it was she that needed to be said. Anyways, so that was just a great episode. All around, it was wonderful. I loved it. I loved it. Anyways, since then though, we've seen we've seen a slight jealousy between Katie and Quinn. Okay, now obviously I hope old Quinn doesn't 100% go away. 98, I would even go so far as to say 89%, new Quinn, that's fine, with maybe an 11% of old Quinn. That would be fine. I'm okay with that, right? Because she's not Sheila. Let's not forget, Sheila was a fucking psychopath and Eric married her too. Just saying. Just saying. I hope someone mentions that on the show. That this isn't the first time that they have the family has disagreed with someone that he's married, right? I'm sure they probably weren't thrilled when he married Brooke way back in the day. But anyways, so Katie went over to see Eric because he's recovering at home, and she was like, "Yeah, my son wants to go to West Side Prep, and I know all of your kids went there, but I need a good word because all these other kids have been on waiting lists." He's like, "Say no more." So he got the kid, Will. He got him into West Side Prep. So the next day was the day of the fashion show. So Katie came over to say thank you and to tell him about, Will getting, accepted into West Side Prep. And she brought a bottle of champagne and they watched the fashion show. And she was very complimentary of Quinn and of the work that she had done. But, when Quinn comes home and she sees two champagne glasses and one of them has a naughty shade of red lipstick. Now, in a way, I think that's actually kind of sweet that she was like, because she called Katie, she's like, don't come over when you know I'm not going to be home. You know, like the first time she had a good reason, but after that, it's like, bitch, I don't, it's not appropriate. And Katie agreed. So she's like, okay, I'm sorry. I won't do that again. I apologize. But then Katie was like looking for a house on her own, and she bought the house next door, right? And of course, Quinn was like, "Don't, you're not going to do that." And she's like, "What is your problem?" So then and then Quinn had this moment where she was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. You're totally right." So we'll see. I personally would love to see a Katie and Quinn friendship because they both have a common enemy, Brooke and Ridge. Um, and they both, well, Katie Moore is like a stepmommy kind of way, and Quinn Moore is a lover, but they both love Liam in their own ways, right? So it would be, I think, a friendship between the two of them would actually be very interesting, and it would be good to have Ivy have more friends that are closer to her age than Ivy. Quinn. Did I say Ivy? I meant Quinn have more friends that are closer to her age than Ivy because Ivy's great. I love me some Ivy. I'm glad she's back, but she's a little too young. She's more Wyatt's age than Quinn's age, so that would be a little bit more appropriate. There were also some scenes this past week with RJ and Bill. And Bill was really hammering home the fact that he loves money. I love money. They call me Dollar Bill, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's true, But the very last scene between the two of them, RJ was like, look, here's the deal. Are you going to make my mom happy? You know, let's just cut the crap and just tell me, are you going to make my mom happy? And he said, I'm going to do everything I can every single day to make sure that she's happy as that she is as happy as she makes me. So, that was actually a very touching scene. And RJ went to his mom and was like, you know what? I might have been wrong. He's not that bad. So Brooke is now like full steam ahead. Yeah, I'm marrying Bill. But, really, it's not that difficult to think that RJ would have. They were close when he was a little kid. So, that whole thing is kind of a little bit strange, but, we'll see. The show always manages to sort itself out. Anywho, thank you so much for logging on. I do appreciate it. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I might be doing another Sudsy recap tonight of Dancing for Relevancy because my last one, because the show's over. And then I'll tell you what show I'm going to be doing instead. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at Angel Benton, hashtag Bold and Beautiful to talk about the Bold and Beautiful. And I will see you all later. Peace out. Wubba, wubba, wubba.